Okay, here we are playing the PM basic scenario. The story so far is Viscount Melbourne, who is the current Prime Minister. Wow, he's number one, which I knew. Didn't realize he had number two directly under him, whereas here we have much later politicians. Anyway, he's managed, using the PACT government, which is a historical but, to pass 3 cross-party bills and to get 3 more up in place. He's won an election already, increasing the share of the MPs. Unfortunately, everything he's done has shared victory points with everyone. So to some extent, he would like to break the pact, but the cost for breaking the pact is picking a liberal bill and putting it up, and there hasn't been one that he wanted to put up that would give him, a chance of passage. So he's just been putting cross-party bills up, and meanwhile, the opposition has only been offering him really unlikely bills to pass. But if he keeps succeeding in getting a larger and larger electorate, he might actually be able to put a liberal bill up. He might pick one himself. It was a thought he had, but he ended up just pulling cross-party bills this time across the board. All right, so that's where we're at. We're ready to start what is the second, I mean, we really have started the second sequence or electoral process going on. But we're just, since we already did the bill selection, we'll just be diving into the player turns. Right now, I'm taking a break, of course. So we've skipped down to the player action turns because we did the other stuff on the prior video. And we got more cubes. I forgot to hand those out when I should have, for the 2 backbenchers as they slowly accumulate more and more standing. Our goal would be probably to make Chief Whip, because, again, we don't have the flattery, so we can't become a Privy Council. And as Chief Whip, what do we get? We get an influence action, which could be very powerful towards disrupting the current PM's party. Weird situation that you'd rise to a leadership position. See, yes, quite often the people in leadership are the people who end up taking the place, but they don't rise to leadership without a loyalty. And it just, at least not in the U.S. government, and I'm assuming it's very similar in parliamentary. We have a number of things we could play with in terms of these, but I don't think we really want to do any of those. How do we deal with our debate card? Since we've avoided doing these, and we would like to gain. Now, we now have increased up to the 3, so it's going to cost us 2 cubes, but it costs us our entire amount to play a debate card. We may not want to do it yet. See, I wish there weren't, like, there's 2 kinds of debate, and that's what fucking, to play your debate card, okay. Place the debate card under the target bill, then move the projected votes up or down. So here's the problem. If I trigger the debate card now, like I want to trigger it on the third bill of the administration, whatever, of the election cycle. Because if I trigger it now, the Prime Minister can just kind of like hold my advantage and choose that last. So there's very little reason for me to improve one of these. But on the other hand, I can only play it if there's less than 340, and actually nothing, I'm not able to play my debate card at this point in either case, because now the government's gotten too powerful. It's got too many votes, for these bills. So I'm not going to have that opportunity. So I guess we hobnob again and draw a card. We'll see what we get. We get John Stuart Mill. Well, that's an interesting one. Kill off some conservative votes, which might not be a bad idea. It hurts the prime minister's electoral capabilities. In fact, I may be interested in hurting my party, oddly enough, more than anything else. I'm at 4 cards. I'm allowed to hold 4 cards. I think I'll just hold them for now. What is my other possibility? I could debate, don't want to debate. I could use my debate card, can't anymore. I will hobnob again. At this point, we're going to have to play a card. Earl of Malmesbury. Okay, so what can I do with my debate card? Well, everything's all, so shifting influence doesn't give me anything particularly. Cardinal Newman, he would be useful if I'm prime minister. I can play these. These are not debates. I can play these against something. My debate card can't be played unless the bill is problematic. I'd like to take supporters away from my prime minister. So I'm going to move this -20 and reduce the liberal conservatives by 1. That's 2 votes go away. What a dick. And we'll do that. We'll hold we'll hold the rest of our supporters for more opportune times, but I just don't see much value to debating up a bill. Now I've set something up, so I made a bill more likely to fail. It's at 340. I could actually play my debate card on that and gain something from it. So I'm trying to manipulate these supporter cards so they do something. That brings me to the opposition. The opposition does not like the current situation. It looks like we want to stay in pact to keep getting victory points. So I think we'll make the whip go first. Now, while this action says debate on it, I don't think the action is debate. It's coordinating debate. So for 2 cubes, I could drop one of these by 30. Do we want to be an anti-vaxxer? Sure. Do we want that more than hobnobbing? Well, what else is available to me? Privy Councilor is not in play. I would need a lot for that. Here I need more standing. Oh, I forgot to give him his standing. I gain standing each turn. I feel like that's the only way I'm getting it. So why don't we do that coordinate debate at -30 to this. And we'll drop it. That'll be to -20, so that's at 330 now. So now the PM's looking at a lot of problems in terms of what he's facing. That brings us to our final. I'm sorry, to the opposition leader. The final is the prime, but the opposition leader can't play his debate card still. I don't think he's allowed to play it. Let's get rid of that. He's only allowed to play it in a 3-player game. Right? I don't think he's allowed to play his debate card. But I'm not sure. When you are the only opposition player, you may also use the opposition leader debate card. Yeah, this card doesn't exist. Okay. Which means I could hobnob. Campaigning doesn't feel like it's the turn to do that, particularly. Let's hobnob. We have one supporter here. Draw 2 more, see what we get. This could be powerful. This looks less interesting. Her Majesty's goddaughter. I don't know anything about this person. I don't know anything about many of these. Okay. So we can play with status a fair amount, but status isn't that important yet. What else do we want to do? I think we hobnob some more. I just don't see. And then we decide what we're doing. Take this, again, playing with status. And we'll hold on to these because I don't need my status yet. And I'm not overly loaded up with cards. That puts us to the Prime Minister and their event. The King of Belgium visits. Oh, I could ignore them. That sounds great. Or I could gossip at state dinner, which allows me to screw with someone. Well, we certainly don't want to take a hit, so we will gossip about, I don't know, our opposition leader is being very, very helpful to us right now. Maybe we'll gossip about Peel here, because he's gained a lot of favor. Yeah, I'm going to gossip about Peel. I'm actually more worried. Oh, he went up as well. And that may have gotten him a position. Nope. Okay. Needs to get to 5. All right, we'll gossip about Peel. And that leaves us, though, with 2 points left, with which we can't do a hell of a lot. What are we good at? We're good at hobnobbing. In general, when in doubt, hobnob. Earl Grey, huh? We will hold on to him because he's tasty. He allows me to improve status, which isn't vital yet, but might be. So I'd like to have that capability. And we'll just keep hobnobbing, right? We don't really care about the makeup of the party. We're okay with the fact that there's a shit ton of partisans. And the Duke of Westminster, sure. Wealthy, oh, I thought it said wealthy poor. Wealthy peer, great. So we've got a couple of status standing in our hands, which is a very powerful capability to be holding on to. Now we got to deal with a bill. Well, so we're at -10 there, -20 there. -10 puts us to 340. We could actually just pass that sucker in general. We could have debated it up and guaranteed that we pass it, but, you know, it comes to a die roll. So let's do the Mines and Colliers Act. This one we're much more successful with, but, you know, might as well leave that cooking. It's not hurting anybody. So 8 down. Let's see what we got. It doesn't matter what I do with those. We lose 1 vote. That can't be right, can it? 1 vote? Okay. So we were at 340. We're now at like 329. So the bill passes. Put that back on top. And this was Mines and Colliers, which means 2 more victory points, and the PM gets a supporter. Perfect. We got the Duke of Wellington, more goodies. We're getting all the yummies, and we passed that as well. All right, are there any challengers? I don't think so. Nobody's got the status yet. The closest is coming here, where he's only 3 behind. There's not going to be an election at this point, which simply means what? Put this here. That'll help me somehow, I think. That means that we move to the next parliamentary order, and I go down and have myself another little bit of a... I watch a part of a video, maybe a whole one, whatever, and then come back up here. I just keep bopping back and forth, so it's not going too badly in terms of that, except for when I go up or down the stairs. Okay, so another round, another 6 points added on here, and I distributed the cubes in time. You know, whatever you may say, I feel like to some extent when you're playing this game, until you get a feel for it more than I have, you kind of have to blunder around and maybe make some really bad decisions. I don't mind that, but I do feel like it's not really clear to me what the flow should be. I'm having a really hard time coming up with any excuse for breaking the pact. Of course, with players making different decisions, with one player making a different decision, first of all, the pact could just be broken, but also, in terms of like what bills are being presented to the Prime Minister, etc., maybe better choices could be made. I don't know if the Prime Minister wants this to be happening. He's creating a lot of points for everyone, right? He's not necessarily running away with his own points. He might be better off, certainly not bringing his own backbencher with him, but there's not much he can do to stop that. He might be doing better off not bringing the opposition with him. He could stop that, but the only way of stopping that is weakening his own position, perhaps, by putting a liberal bill up. If he puts a liberal bill up, he breaks the coalition, but so far he hasn't been offered one that he wanted to put up. And I don't know if he drew any, but you certainly don't want to be put into a position where you have to put up a bill that is going to fail, I think. That's going to hurt you. It's going to hurt you in position with your own backbencher. However, his backbencher is gaining ground on him, but cannot gain enough as long as I don't lose status. Right? So as long as I keep my status in good shape, as long as I keep winning elections, hey, this game is mine, man. So it looks good to me from his point of view. It's just hard for the opposition or his government backbencher to make any kind of decision to break with him, because they're getting as many victory points as he is. They're hoping for some kind of opportunity, really. All right, so we drop back down to player action turns. We could debate. We actually are able to now, but only on this bill. That bill is kind of not doing all that well. It might be worth throwing it in for the bonus. But then again, it might not. What am I? Am I whipped yet? I cannot whip yet. I need to gain another point of prestige to get to whip. And I don't think anything else is available to me until I get a lot more powerful. I guess I'm going to hobnob. I'm going to cut away because I got to reshuffle among other things, but because I'm probably going to be doing 2 hobnobbings. Actually don't have to cut away. So I'm going to take this, which reduces our liberal support. Actually, I'm going to take the Earl of Malmesbury. Do I want this? Yes. I am going to convert 20 moderates into partisans. And that hurts us by 1 liberal. Which seems weird, right? I'm actually, and that kills us by 2. Because that seems like he's obviously a conservative person or something. I don't know. I don't know why I'm like creating more partisan MPs and hurting our standing of the government with the liberals. I don't know how you can describe that. Like, I feel like I did something that doesn't actually work. He's obviously a conservative influence, but whatever I did with him, I've caused problems for the party. And then, yeah, I'll draw another one because no reason to use my debate capability yet. And now I got to do another one. Well, I got the bonus. It's not the bonus I want. But this is the one I'm going to play. I'm going to give myself... Oh, no, this is a minus status. All right. We're going to bring the PM down a point. How about that? Dicky, dude. I really feel like your own backbencher is going to feel like such a dick in this game because you're kind of aligned, but you're really opposed to each other. You're like, as the backbencher, you're the major figure that is opposed to you and not going to have enough to get any kind of job still. We're gaining status, but we're not, or standing, but we're not gaining the favor that we need. We kept hoping to gain a favor card through there. The debate can get us one, but we can't guarantee that it'll be in play at the right time. Opposition doesn't want to break yet. We still want to get the yummy points. If he's able to pass something, in terms of not passing something, if he resolves this bill through failure or through withdrawing it, it causes him problems. And he's at 330 anyway at that minus 20. So is in pretty good shape as it stands. So we want to stick. So we'll go back to him. Is it time to coordinate debate? Force the PM to withdraw a bill, whatever. I think so. Let's bring that into the, yeah, you're not going to pass this shit. Now, I could have dropped this one down, but this is so popular that it just doesn't make a lot of sense to start working on it, because if I start working on it, he'll pass that, and then maybe he'll be able to get away with that. So that takes his entire job, is firing his whipping action, which he did before. And unfortunately, it means we're not really gaining ground except by getting more status. Now, or What is standing? Our standing is up there. I think we're going to become the campaign chairman as well at the end of that. What is that going to allow us to do next turn? A level 1 action, campaign in one of your sectors, or for 2 cubes, campaign in any sector. So I can now influence the elections more powerfully. And that I might be able to swing the government in my favor. At the very least, if the PM starts losing standing due to losing elections, we might become the government, and that might give me some more power than what I feel like I have right now. I'm not going to play supporters yet, right? No value to those. Ooh. I have to get up to 4 to become deputy party leader. I also have to be almost in a position at which I could challenge him, which is his problem. Well, that brings us to the opposition leader. Who has a lot of capability and standing. Hobnobbing is always good. Yeah, we got the reshuffle now. Although the supporters deck isn't too big, reshuffling it, no big deal. It happens every few turns. That's fine. The uncertainty deck, this is just a stupid way to handle a complete randomizer. You should never do this. Game design thing here. And when you think about it, it would cost them less to produce another little chart card, something that maybe just sits next to the board, whatever, with 36 results. Of course, then they'd have to provide a couple of dice as well for randomizing, but as they want to make complete games, whatever. But just I think it would still end up less than that deck of cards costs. I don't know for sure, but I'm assuming it would not end up costing more to provide, a pair of dice. They could have 36 different uncertainty results and 2 different tables, one for elections, one for bills. Okay, let's see what my choices are here. Well, clearly I want the Prince of Wales. I like the idea, here I have lots of options, but I view the capability of being able to change the favor to be incredibly powerful. And I can hold all of these, but if I draw another, I cannot. Now, I could debate this into hell. I don't want to do that. Actually, I can't. Not without having broken the pact. I think rather than play one of my little cards, I think it's better for me to just flatter and push this up and get myself further into the Queen's good graces. This might do something good for me during an election. That way I get to hold these. That means we have another event. And in this case, Boers win a battle in South Africa. Well, for 2 cubes, I'm able to do a campaign type action, and it's really kind of a double campaign action, which I don't even have the capability for. Devise new strategy. Why is it double? Because it avoids these penalties. So we get 1 in the middle class, which gives us 2 more popularity and puts our votes back up. Seems like a good idea. Not positive. I am good at hobnobbing. I have a lot of status sitting here. I'm still safe from them, still safe from them. What if there's a quick change? I think I'm still safe across the board, which means I don't want to play any of these. I think I do the interminable hobnobbing unless I really want to. See, this is going to be painful to pass. 50 brings me down to 300. I do not have strong debate, so I could bring it up to 310, maybe 320 next time. I'm hoping a supporter can do me better. I've got a debate there of 10. That would be what I could have gotten here. I'll grab Devonshire, grabbing myself more standing. Seems like a good idea. I don't really think debates are going to be... Like, I can cancel out the penalty for the debate with that card, right? Like, if I have to withdraw this bill, that's fine. That'll help the opposition. It nets 2 points, but, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. So now I have to resolve a bill. I'm going to resolve this one that I can automatically succeed in. Weights and Measures Act. That gets us 2 more victory points. Hey, we're running pretty fast here. So I think we'll just go to the next turn and get another 6 points in the cubes. Nobody broke the pact, man. What? I might actually want to play some of these back there. I'm just looking at this now, and I'm like... I could raise my standing by 3 points and I would have gotten another cube. Why don't we do that? Why don't we do that? That gives me more power in running this government. It doesn't really make sense to hold off on the supporters. It makes a lot of sense to boost this up, give myself more power and more capability to shift things around. This way, I do have debate capacity. I could debate 4 times and swing something 40 points. Now, obviously, the event is a danger to that. But I think that's what I'm going to do instead. Yeah, I knew what the bill was. I knew everything that I know now. So I'm not really like taking advantage of any information. I'm just like thinking and saying, yeah, I wasn't that clever. Why don't I do this because I get more cubes this way? And that would be powerful. Now, other people might be equally interested in such. For example, if he has a couple of standing cards, but he does not, the Prime Minister was hoarding them, which might actually be a wise strategy as well. Like, by hoarding so many of the standing cards, I'm preventing anyone else from gaining standing. But the deck's going to be reshuffled in a while. I'm probably going to have to start playing those off anyway. So, yeah, why not do it now? So that got me this. I think I pulled the 6 points, didn't I? I don't think I did. I don't think I did. So there we go. And we go to the player actions again. And now, here's where he has his big question. Does he want to deal with this? Try to boost this up. What would that do for me? I would finally get the favor that I need to be the chief whip. I can't be privy councilor. Campaign chairman, I need that. Deputy Prime Minister, I need even more. But this could hurt me. This could hurt me if the bill fails or is withdrawn. This cost me 2 cubes to raise it by 10. That'll be a minus 40. That brings it to 310. I turn to the Prime Minister and I say, Mr. Prime Minister, are you going to push this? Are you going to support us on this? Because it would be of great value. Like, I can push it forward. Or do I reach into the deck and hope that I can get the point of favor that I need? So how much would we need? If I stake my career on this, it's 10 points there. That brings me to minus 20. I can not touch that, because this is going to cost me my 2 cubes, which means I have to count on him to play at least 2 cubes to make it even. I just don't think I'm going to be able to get an answer that's acceptable to me. So hobnob it is. Hobnob it is. And I don't care to debate it if I don't put that card up there. And I have a fistful of cards that I want to do things to. Huh. I don't particularly want to help my party. I want him to lose the election. And the best way I have of losing the election, I think, is to play this, which will reduce my liberals by 3. I hobnob again. Well, there we go. I could crush this bill. It's going to be hard to catch the Prime Minister, though. He's gotten his votes up so high that that doesn't help me. I'm hoping to get a job. But getting additional standing isn't really going to help me either. What I need is favor, and that none of this gives me favor. I'm just accumulating standing. I'll play him to reduce the farmers by 1. That's 2 more votes, or 2 more popularity going down. And we're going to drop, what? Yeah, we're going to drop this by 20. We're going to try to make his my Prime Minister's life really, really difficult. What am I, doing here? I'm trying to fail on free and mandatory vaccination of children. Cool. Oh, we go over here. Do we want to break the pact? Well, what advantage do we get out of breaking the pact? He gets an advantage if I break the pact before he goes. This is going to be withdrawn. When a bill fails, the opposition gets points, or if it's withdrawn. So I think I force him to go first so he can't debate against it. He can't break the pact on his own. And then on my turn, I am going to break the pact and try to get us a jump on this final bill here. And try, maybe not to win the election, but to at least win some seats and improve my own power that way. Which means we're on him. 5 standing, yeah. And only 2, how did I get here? How about that? But he has capability to campaign, to coordinate debate, neither of which seems particularly powerful. Get me towards deputy leader. I'm going to hobnob. The idea here, gather together a powerful hand. I'm not that terribly interested in the opposition leader winning this election. I think he's going to anyway, but we don't know. I don't know, because it's actually, yeah, this is much, much less than what we're sitting at. Ooh, I have to swap battery. The PM is going to fail with the Vaccination Act. We're going to break the pact, and that puts the opposition cube in the same space. We tried to do this before. And now what? We have supporters. Our supporters are pretty good. We don't particularly want to play with this. That's not going to do us any good. There's a potential election coming up, but the PM could avoid that because it doesn't look good. We are good at hobnobbing, and it looks like the most valuable thing. We might want to campaign or play cards for that, but I feel like supporters are as good as campaigning. John Brown. Too good not to have. Now I'm at 4. I'm going to play this for +2. Oh, -1 standing. Oh, I don't know if we want to do that. Do we want to do that? Getting a lot of favor is useful, but we're getting too close in the standing issue here. We don't really want to do that. We could improve his position. We don't really want to do that. Why don't we do something that is just good for us? Why don't we increment our royal favor with Tennyson? That should be enough. We got some ground on us. Anyway, I think we want to hobnob some more. Hobnobbing's cool. John Stuart Mill, not terribly useful. Earl of Malmesbury. Not impressed with either. We could improve our conservative holding by 1, and that gets us 2 more. 2 more popularity. And that'll be us. Well, now we draw the event. Invitation to Balmoral. Yeah, I think we'll accept that. The Crown invites us up. And we also get an S, a Scotland point, which is worth 2 popularity. Not anything major there. See, this is a minor event. This is the kind of thing that feels like it should have no effect on anything else. Maybe your favor might determine whether or not you get invited at all. Like if your favor sucks, you probably shouldn't be. You shouldn't be given the opportunity, but you know, as long as it's maybe above 1, you should. Now what? Well, I can't pass this by any stretch of the imagination. I could campaign, but I'm good at hobnobbing. And now that we have 4 counters, we're in a very strong position to grab stuff. Grab her, and we'll hobnob some more. Because this is what government's about, man. It really is. What's G? I could hurt them with the gentry, or I could hurt them with the middle class. I don't really want to help myself with liberals. Let's take Dickens. We're going to bury these and not play any of them because I don't think I'm going to be running the election now. Of course, I'm in danger of losing. Like, it's getting close enough. If I play the election now, I get to hang on to the prime ministership, but I'm nowhere near that 90 points. And, okay. So, here are challenges. It's getting close. It's not close. It's not close. And now we have No, before that, we have to do the bill first. Okay, let's look at the bill before we hear challenges. Resolved bill. I want to withdraw that bill, so I lose a point of standing. Oh no. And the opposition leader gains a point of standing, getting him close to getting a third cube. And the opposition gets 2 victory points for that. And vaccination, they lose the day today. All right, here challenges. Still no challenges in play, even though I dropped one. I'm still way ahead of the backbench, way ahead of the opposition, which means we could hold an election. Do we want an election that we will lose? Well, what do we lose if we lose the election? Like, we will lose seats. We'll probably win the election and hold the government. I think we grab this. I'm not thrilled with it because we could lose the entire government, but I'm not really sure that losing the government is that terrible a thing. I'm not sure what difference it makes. Losing the election and losing standing seems like it's a painful thing to do. So, we refuse the election. And that'll put us back up to the top of the order. And I think we break for a bit, because we're going to have to pick bills and whatnot. And that's a little bit of a complicated situation. All right. With the election delayed, the pact broken, now the setup for the round is 4 for the government, which is the red player, and 2 for the opposition. Cubes go out. I'm wondering. Yeah, I haven't had anything that could help me. That big 4 cubes is a really, really nice. Oh, I only get 3 of them now. How about that? There we go. Lost some standing, standing due to losing that election. Still in charge, but lost the election. And now it's the bill selection time. And I think the way I've been doing it is, I just think that first of all, when the discard gets pulled is of some importance, but also being able to see what a particular player pulls. Things stand right now, to me, it looks like before we were picking with the opposition, we were picking liberal bills to try to force him to break the pact. But right now we're looking at it, and we've got an interesting mix here. What we want is actually moderate bills. Those are the most likely to fail. Well, actually maybe not. These are about equal. What we don't want is all bills. I think we're going to draw a liberal bill, see what we get out of that, because we can always back up and take a cross-party bill, which will give us as many victory points, basically. Okay, so this is a huge one with a partisan vote on it. The Government of Ireland Act. That sounds like a really good choice. I will pull another liberal bill, see if I can get something even worse. Okay, this is a partisan plus 10, so I would rather put this bigger one up there for the PM and force him to take this. The matrimonial causes, this is an interesting one if the government backbencher had, because it causes a -1 to the PM's favor, which is kind of an intriguing idea to you might be able, standing would be a lot more valuable. Now I go to the government backbencher, and he too wishes to screw with the government, would rather have bills that fail. So we'll draw a liberal. Okay, this is an all. This is not going to fail, but we don't think there's a good chance of failure in the cross party comparatively. Ugh. We got two alls. We've got an all minus 20, which at least is close. We really don't want to give him either of these. If we had a way, we would, but we'll give him that liberal bill. Over to the backbencher. No reason we want him to succeed either. So we also will draw a liberal bill. That's an all. That's not good. Do we want to hedge our bet with a cross-party one? Well, we don't want to hand him this. We're not allowed to converse here. Okay, we got an all. We got an all minus 20. And now he gets to see what he gets. He's got an all minus 20, an all minus 20. Neither of those is bad. This one, the partisan bill, this is going to be really hard to pass. So I think we're allowed to pull 3. I'm going to pull 1 liberal. That's a partisan at plus 40. That gets me up to 200, but it's not good enough. It's got a lot of points on it. I'm going to go to cross party, make sure I get something that works. This is an all minus 30. That's still not great. Let's draw another cross party. That's a moderate. Moderate is not good for me because it's going to be less than the all. So what am I going to put up? I'm going to put the Windsor Castle Act up. There's no question of that. That's an all minus 30, which puts me at minus, not minus 30. We're at 350 because we didn't hold the election, so 320, so we're at minus 10 with that. Okay. This is an act to improve Windsor Castle. Great. The nice thing about it is it gives me some favor, if I get it. Irish land. So we definitely don't want the Government of Ireland Act, which is like Gladstone's goal, right? I think. So railway regulation is one option. That gives a point to the opposition. Irish Land Act, if I pick that I definitely want to pick. That'll be an all minus 20, which again, that puts us at 0. And it gives us a point because we picked our Backbenchers Act. And then for the final one, I could either pick this at moderate, which would be a big minus, right? It would be like 140 back or something like that. Right? Yeah. I mean, there's just no way. You can't even record it on here, which is no good. So I think I'll pick the Railroad Regulatory Act, which is another all minus 20. I'll probably not succeed at all of these. That gives a point to the Conservatives. And then these guys all get discarded. Yeah, they're not all. Most of them are liberal. The elementary education is not a liberal objective. So we've put our bills in place, and now it's time for the player action turns. The loyal backbencher here gets to go first. He really, really wants to increase his influence here. He needs that. That would get him a capacity, unfortunately, he's 2 behind at this point. I could put one of these in play. It's not the time to do that. Why didn't I do it before? Because the bill that was left, I couldn't win. That's the problem. Well, I guess we hobnob, right? We get Darwin. Okay, we got a bunch of hobnobbing that we don't like. We could shift more votes towards partisans. I don't know how much that does me. He can increase a bid, so I could like play my debate card. I could play this to improve and then play my debate card or something along those lines. I probably want to play the debate card first. Well, double liberal minus moderate, or minus middle class. I don't want to help his. I don't want to help his election chances all that much. How about I play Carlisle here? I could choose to throw one of these, by the way. And I don't have to choose yet. But that gives me double conservative for 4, plus 4, down a liberal, so we go plus 2. Do I just want to pitch one? No, you know what? We'll instead convert 10 of these to partisans. I think that's a more valuable choice. But there is a possibility that you've got cards, none of which you really want to play. I'll play another one of these. Oh, this doesn't require being in action, so I can play it at the same time as I play the card. Okay. We could screw our own Irish. Sure. We want to hurt the current government, so that's 2 gone from Ireland. Because we are just dicks when it comes down to it. And that holds us to position. Which way does the opposition want to go? I don't think there's any reason we'd want to go first. We want to see what he does first. What's his situation? Well, he can campaign, he can coordinate debate against a bill. That is very appealing because right now we got a couple of zeros. Getting one of those zeros into play would be problematic. How about we screw with the Irish Land Act, which looks like it gives lots of bonuses to them, and we'll coordinate debate against that to minus 30. That's going to bring them down to a 320. It's still close, man. No, right? Not 320. I'm sorry, 300. It's not minus 30 off here. It's minus 30 is it's standing right now. I don't like not going for support. Oh, this goes up. I always forget that action. We are nowhere near the 4 for deputy party leader. What would that give us? Extra support. Sweet. All right. But we want to do the debate because we want to hurt the prime minister and his party. We see that as more important than trying to pad our own situation. We go up to a 6 status now. Okay. That puts us to him. All right. We don't really want to hurt our own standing. Oh. There might be a time when that's actually worth doing, but right now it really looks dangerous. We could screw around with his holdings. Would helping his favor, letting him maybe become a deputy leader at some point, be of value to me? I don't think so. I don't really care too much about the favor of the opposing party. It's this guy's favor I'm worried about. So, what do I do? Do I want to hobnob? Or do I want to debate? Debating, I could reduce something by 10. I could make this a little worse. Because this looks like it's probably going to pass. Whereas all the others are in the negative. He can probably fix any negative that I give him right now. Why don't we hobnob? Hobnobbing is always good. We're going to use Sir Dadabhai Naoroji. We're going to use him to drop this by 10. Yeah, it's what we could have done anyway. Let's hobnob once more, because again, I don't see, I mean, I have a lot of capability for flattery anyway. I can increase my standing. That would give me another cube next time. It seems like the best move. Why don't we do that? I don't shuffle those because I'm going to follow the general rule that I do when playing, as taken from groups I used to play with, which is you don't reshuffle until you need to. That's going to put it on the government, who gets an event. Jack the Ripper! Oh, I could ignore him. So here's the thing. No matter what I do, it's bad. But I'm going to sack the Home Secretary. You know, there go two of my cubes. You really kind of want to do the most expensive action almost invariably. But, geez, man. Now I'm left with very, very little left. I have some supporters whom I don't really need to play. I don't want to hobnob, much as that would give me cards. They're cards I might be able to use, but by debating, I could get the value up to 0, which gives me a better chance. Which one do I want to do most? Windsor Castle Act, I guess, and we'll spend that on a debate for that. And then we get to resolve a bill. We'll resolve the Windsor Castle Act. We're at 0. Card 13. Yeah, I'm gonna need to turn the camera off to get that deep into the deck. Randomization says it passes. We got, what, 10 extra votes for it? So that creates 2 votes for, 2 points for each. Yeah, we're still tracking. G, the gentry. We get a bonus on gentry from this, which gives us 2 popularity. And our prime minister here is well received by the crown, and we pass this. Okay. All right. And I can keep this pile over there, see what each player manages to do. Challenges? Not quite. 9 to 12, not quite. Definitely not. Was anybody up there? He's not. He doesn't have flatter. He can't get anything until he can get to his favor up there. There is not an election this time. Go another round? Sure. The next one's going to be the election round. So, all right, 4 for the government and 2 for the opposition. And cubes. And an extra cube for the opposition as he's beginning to gather power. No bill selection at this point, so player turns. Huh, well, what are we at? There's a chance this thing might pass if I don't play now. If I play now, I position myself in a good place for an advantage. So I will play 2 cubes, because that's the cost of the card now, in order to play that. And if we win, I get some more standing, but more importantly, or I get favor. And favor is what I need right now. I absolutely need to build that up. And the Earl of Iddlesborough, or whatever the hell his name is. I'm going to boost him up with that. I don't like using up all my capabilities there. For him, I'm going to hand it to the backbencher again. Now, the backbencher could, like, kind of try to extort me with, like, look, I'll play this, but I want to see your action first because, you know, whatever. But the important thing to us is to prevent this. We don't want the government succeeding. And that means we go to the opposition leader, who of course wants to just hobnob. And that's going to require die rolling. But I got 3 cubes now, so I could, like, balance things out. These are both at minus 30. That's nasty. I don't think you draw at minus 30, right? I don't have... Resolves a bill is at 9. Yeah, it has to be between 320 and 340 to draw a card. So there's no chance right now, but he could push it up. Conceivably. All right, let's shuffle the deck, swap batteries, stuff like that. Point about these damn armored cards again. I'm already seeing wear around the edges. They're starting to show. They degrade so much faster. You would never see this with the cards that aren't as stiff and aren't as heavy. I don't know why they think these are a good idea. They certainly can't be cheaper. Anyway, we're going to hobnob because hobnobbing is cool. Huh. Well, I don't have any debate on this one. Now, what do I want to play? I think using John Brown to weaken the opposition, give him a lot of favor, but start weakening his position? Not yet. Not yet. We'll play Prince Albert to give ourselves a point. We'll hobnob again. We'll play Earl Grey to increase our position again. We're in a very, very powerful place at this point. Essentially unassailable. Because of that, we could just flatter and start boosting our points on that side. But, we could campaign. We could defeat one of these debate cards a little bit. I don't really see a terrible reason to do that. So I am going to campaign C, M, or W. Conservative. Middle class is worth 2. Conservative's worth 3. And what was the other one? Workers. Workers would be worth 2. Yeah, we'll up the conservative by 3. Putting us to there. And now we go to the event again. And we get the Prince of Wales caught in a scandal. Terrible. Okay. We could just... So here we have an interesting choice. We could play less cubes, advising Her Majesty, and we don't take a favor penalty. If we ignore the problem, it's just bad. The middle class isn't going to like this, which is 2 more popularity going away. Whereas here, shifting the blame, we get to keep the popularity and we get to keep the government. Oh, do we want to lose the government? That's our worry here. I think we advise Her Majesty. The middle class goes down 1, which is worth 2. And now, it looks like we're going to lose the government at this point, assuming things stay the same. But we got to choose one of them, and none of them are good. But now we have 2 cubes. What we can do, we know he wants to support that, and we'll do more to support it, because he's bet his career on it. So this is the one we want to play with. We're going to debate it twice, so we have a chance. Is that worth it? Fuck. What do we have in support? Because hobnobbing may work better. We have nothing that can change the bid. You know what? We're going to hobnob. We take 2 cards. We'll play this for a royal favor. Not what we wanted. Well, we have no choice now. We must hobnob and have to hope for something massive. We get a 10 point, which we'll keep. Not going to play it because we're not going to be even possible to pass a bill. And what are we going to do? We're going to withdraw the Railway Regulatory Act, or do we withdraw the other one in the hopes that our buddy helps us pass this? Oh, boy. We'll withdraw the other one, I guess. I don't like this one bit. So that's -1. +1 for the opposition leader, but he doesn't get anything out of it. But they get 2 victory points and catch up to us as we throw this bill away and do not attempt it. The challenge time, there are none available, which means we'll be back up to the parliamentary, the top of the round here. But I am going to pass, pause, whatever here, because I have stuff I need to do in RAID pretty regularly right now. Right now I have 15-minute intervals. And if I'm playing RAID during those 15 minutes, I use up, I eat up the interval, but then I can do something else. So I'm trying to get up here to play a little bit in between, just so that I'm not seated in front of the computer quite as much. So we distributed the victory points. Liberals getting a couple extra. And the cubes. We're ready to get started. This is a turn where there will be an election, no matter what. The PM can't avoid it. And his party is actually in danger of losing control. If you're going to lose control, I guess it's kind of cool, because you get to stay as opposition leader, and I don't know. We'll see what happens. That may not work well for him, because I think the backbencher gets to keep his full points, whereas losing control of the government drops you down, I believe, all the way to that 5. So he's going to lose control of his party as well. The game doesn't handle swapping parties. Not swapping parties. It doesn't handle swapping characters. So Melbourne is going to still be kicking around as a backbencher. Doesn't make a lot of sense. He probably wouldn't be working his way back up. The cases of that are going to be so limited. Before I jump in, I gotta say, skipping a week of dancing is weird. It's just really weird. I don't know how many I miss, I'm pretty sure I missed one in the past year already. But for the most part, I've been going every damn week since I moved here, again, with the exception of during the pandemic, they were closed down, and every now and then I would miss one. I certainly wasn't too sick to go compared to other times. I mean, but it, I don't know, it puts my life in a different perspective in a way. I'm missing that ecstatic blanking of the mind, and I won't be wiped out. Of course, I'm still up to my bad habits, which means here it is like 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, and I'm drinking coffee. I just start, I had a breakfast of an omelet, and now I'm having coffee. I can't fight it. What's the worst that happens? Well, I'll tell you, it's that my roof needs repairing before it should have to. All right, no bill selection. Obviously, we go to the player action turns, and we have to worry about this upcoming election. How does the government backbencher feel? He would rather the prime minister lose the election, but not lose the party. He doesn't want the party to lose the election. He wants to embarrass the prime minister, but not damage the party. And that's of some importance. I've got this debate card in play to handle some of that. What am I going to do? Well, right now I'm sitting at still only 1, which means I can't really help him. It's a thing that by not getting favor, it's actually hurting the prime minister as well, because if I had more party power, I could do things to help. What is the most important thing I can do? Is it campaigning or is it winning the bill? Well, I think it's winning the bill because that's what I'm most interested in. I have a capacity to debate at 10 points each, but I also have supporters. My supporters aren't going to help me. Do I want to draw another supporter, or do I want to guarantee my debate points in there? It's a good question. I may also want to play some of these to help my party. Much as I hate having to do this, I'll play this for too liberal. That's 5 votes. That puts it up to 4 in our favor. We're in a challenge for trying to keep the party in hold. And SWIM. SWIM. Ireland, not necessarily great. Workers. Workers are particularly uninteresting. Middle class, not too exciting. Scotland, not too exciting. I think I'll put it to Ireland. We shift that up 1. That gets us 2 more. I think that's enough for that. I'm going to spend both my cubes on debating and try to get the point up there, hoping the Prime Minister is able to save this bill. Because I care about it a lot. He should. But the problem now is the opposition gets its chance to blast it. And remember, I got that coordinated debate where I can just knock that down. Is that the best move? I don't know. I don't really care if my party wins, particularly. I'd like it because we'd get more victory points out of that. But I might care more about, well, opposition's already at the highest standing, so we're not going to really be able to defeat that. Position-wise, I am green. I need to go up 2 favor to reach party leader, but I don't need to do that right now. What do I care about here? I don't really know. I really don't know. I could debate. Debating, the debate card, if I play this, we're no longer part of the pact. It's greater than 290, which means that I could actually gain some standing if the bill fails or withdraws. But here's the problem. I put this in, and I give a hell of a reason for the opposition to let that thing pass. Because I'm creeping up on him, on the leader. And so I'm a little afraid of doing that. Do I care if it passes or fails? Not terribly. Not terribly. So what do I care about? Do I care if our party wins or loses? Not terribly. What does influence allow me to do? Nothing right now. I can campaign. Don't really care about that. I'm going to hobnob. The Duke of Wellington. Okay. We're going to increase our status by 1. We'll hobnob again. Well, this looks less than valuable to me. So this is the card I'm going to play. Do I want to hit liberals, which would be worth 2 points, or farmers, which would be worth nothing? I'll hit the liberals and take 2 points away from the Liberal Party. All right, that puts it back on the opposition. Well, he does care about both the election and this. Failing that would drop him, would make me more important. Right now I don't have the favor, so I can't challenge based on that. Okay, let's look at my supporter calls. I don't have any elections, any election card, any cards that help me with this particular bid. I could debate twice, drop this down to -30. He can fix that though. I'm going to try a hobnob. I get 2 cards in hobnobbing. Not useful. John Stuart Mill is useful. That's a -20. But I lose a conservative vote. I don't like this, because that's worth 3. But I kill this by 20. I'll campaign with those conservatives. Knocking that back down a little bit. And we'll debate some more, knocking it down a little bit more. Hopefully he can't come back from that. I gotta swap batteries, and I'm ready to do the Prime Minister. Okay, and we go to an event, which in this case is Suffragettes Disturb the Peace. For 2 cubes I can praise motherhood. Okay, so here's the problem. I'm in danger of losing liberal votes, which is worth 3 on there. That's not good. I can gain some middle class votes, which would be gaining 2. But if I do that, I'm using 2 of my 3 cubes. I'm only at debate 1. I wouldn't be able to win this issue. And if I withdraw it, I'm weakening myself comparatively and could be challenged. I have a plus 10 sitting here in the bank. Boy. So if I play 2 of these, like the real question is, how much am I willing, how important is it for me to win this fight here? I end up reducing my backbencher, which helps a little bit, I guess. But I'm afraid of losing the election or losing to a challenge just before we go into the election. Both of those are potentialities here. I have more favor. I think that wins me the tie. So I'm going to praise motherhood. And that raises the middle class by 1 for 2 more votes. So I can probably win the election. Well, I'm still going to lose relative, but he's going to lose as well because he staked his career on like getting this vote through. And what else? I have 1 more cube. I could hobnob. That might help me the most. Let's try it. Duke of Wellington, definitely a valuable card. A powerful campaigning card for conservatives, but not that interesting. Changing, this is an all party, so this doesn't help me. So I'm going to try to hold on to things with the Duke of Wellington. Push that up. And now I'm going to try to improve my position in various government locations. First one. I can either hit them with workers, which is only worth a point for them, or improve my middle class, which is worth 2. We'll improve the middle class. We could improve our liberals, which is worth 2, or decrease their middle class, which is worth 2. Improving our liberals gives me more purple. Here's the thing. I've got another liberal card up there, so I'm going to improve my standing with liberals, getting 2 more. Trying to get the votes up to where I feel safe, right? Always useful. This could push me into the 3 cubes. I think I'm going to be holding position, so we'll push ourselves up to 3 cubes. I think we're going to fall back down then. And we'll play the final one. Liberal NP. Okay. We could increase liberal again, and we were planning on doing that. That's 3 more votes, or 3 more popularity, not votes. And we have expended what we do. Now we resolve a bill. We can't win the bill, so we're going to withdraw it. Withdrawing the bill loses us 1 of these. The opposition leader goes up, but he doesn't get anything for that. But they get 2 victory points again. And this bill fails, going away. But he failed, which means he has to choose to either lose a status or standing, or lose a point of royal favor. He'll lose some standing, but that's not good. Oh, he shouldn't be on the pact side. I think the sides are the same. Oh, wait. If a bill passes, we could take victory points. Yeah, okay. So the bill was withdrawn, and that's no good. And now it's time to hear challenges. We're at 12. Well, we're at 12. We can't be challenged. He can't be challenged. We can't be challenged there. There are no challenges. So now it's election time. And for this election, it is a forced one. I don't think there's anything exciting. There's just, you roll the uncertainty, right? The person who doesn't remember what he's doing takes a quick look, and yeah, I think I just rolled the uncertainty die. Again, 2d6, you could have 36 results instead of 18, or you could take the 18 and, split it up and put them on there. Put it on a chart, cheaper and easier to cope with than reshuffling a deck every time. We get to 5. That's this card. 12 extra seats. So that would put us to 367. That's going to mean we hit 370. We have won the election. Not only maintained power, but the PM won the election. Which means he gets a bonus for this, man. Election VP. I don't think he gets any standing from it. This is the problem. So we get 2 plus 2 is 4 victory points for winning the election. Now, my backbencher gets this too. So there's kind of a, oops. This goes up to 370. And now we reset the markers. We have to count the number of partisans that there will be. 110. Looks like 110. Out of 370 means there's 260 moderates in play. So, what have we done? Well, we still don't have enough of either to really pass bills that aren't all party bills. But I think we did well on that election. The election disc goes back. We flip this over. Was there a chance we could lose? Sure. But not much of one. I don't remember how much these vary. Somewhere we have the uncertainty, how the uncertainty works. 9, 11, 12. No, 12 is the most for elections. So we were not going to lose that election. We blasted enough votes in there that we were very likely to gain power. And we also, now remember, there's royal interference cards. We haven't seen one yet. I don't think we've seen one for anything. But anyway, so there we go, with the Liberals still holding power even after the pact's been broken. It's funny that the opposition doesn't lose power. Like, I feel like something should happen here. I feel like there should be some impact. So winning the election gets you victory points. So there's victory points at risk. But I don't know. Like losing seats should hurt you, I would think. But doesn't happen here. And that means we're going to load this one up because we went through another full election cycle. I don't know if we'll always be doing it at that level, but yeah. We've burned through most of the Liberal laws. Just waiting for this to change, but the game seems to be standing in the same kind of way. The Liberals are beginning to pull away from the Conservatives at this point. They're beginning to get a larger and larger majority, but that could get flushed out. Among other things, look at this. Everybody's got a fistful of cards on the Conservative side. The Liberals have a total of 1 card for their backbencher in terms of supporters, which those cards are really, really valuable. That's how we pushed our election so fast and so hard. All right. It kind of demonstrates one of the things I'm worried about, that this is a game where you want to kind of bide your time as a backbencher in the opposition or something like that, while the counters move forward and whatnot, and then make a come-from-behind victory utilizing resources that you haven't, burned. It feels very compelling to try to stay in government and everything along those lines. And yeah, I don't know how much you can argue. He had a real concern about that final bill. He wanted to make sure that that passed. It didn't. It didn't. Why? Because the Prime Minister was less interested in getting it passed than winning the election. And, letting that bill burn was actually advantageous because his backbencher is too interested in it. It's better to sacrifice your ally, It's a weird kind of situation. It feels like some of the mechanisms are just kind of odd. That yeah, but if you cut somebody like that. So here's the thing. If there were more players, let's say there were 6 players per party, right? And the person you were favoring as your party, as your sub-leader, whoever was becoming the more important, if you kind of cut them like that, in terms of destroying the things that they're agreeing to do to support you being, prime minister or whatever, because honestly, it's built up on the respect of all the members of your party. You start getting a reputation for that, and you lose your party leadership position that way. And it's not really, there's none of that going on, right? It's all handled in an abstract sort of way that doesn't really make sense. The fact that I withdrew the bill hurt me in standing a little bit. But the fact that I had some sort of agreement to try to help him, but then decided, look, it's more important I hold my position and stuff along those lines, it doesn't really hurt me. Is he going to, screw his game to destroy my prime ministership? Well, he's trying to destroy my prime ministership anyway, right? It's just something feels a little off about the motivations of the different players. Entirely? No. Sometimes you'll have a very, very I can't find the word. Damn, I'm getting old. I'm going to just use greedy or whatever. Greedy for power. Ambitious. Ambitious is the word I'm looking for. Sometimes you'll have a very ambitious, holder of one of these important offices or whatever, and they may actually start trying to undermine you. They may actually work against you, and you may be working against them, and you may be in a really weird position because of that. But I would say in general, those situations fairly quickly resolve to a point where even if they're ambitious, there's an aspect of must remain loyal, and all that kind of spirit is missing from this. There are games which explore those kind of ideas better, I think. I don't know if they're, this is providing a good competitive framework. something where you're making decisions based on the competitive. But then on the other hand, maybe my competitive move as prime minister wouldn't be to try to hold power. Maybe it would be to lose power as quickly as possible, to get myself in one of those backbencher positions, which I actually think. So here's the thing. I'm not sure, like, opposition may not want to win control of anything until later. Because if the scores get high enough, that's when you want to perform your coup. And the same thing with the backbenchers. But the worst of all is this guy, because he's kind of stuck. He's not able to resign. He's not able to do anything to get rid of his support for the opposition leader. However, he can play things that don't really help the opposition leader. So it's not like he's completely, not a free agent. He's got a significant amount of power in terms of trying to overtake him. But it may be that the most powerful position is to be, at least title-wise, the weakest position on the board, or one of the weaker positions. I really have that suspicion, and it feels funny if that's the case. Like, it feels like you should have a fair chance of being able to hold on to your prime ministership, but I feel like the vote counts are getting so high, and I essentially have 3 people gunning for me, I'm not going to be able to keep improving though. And that's going to hurt my standing. Of course, I have a fair amount of padding there, and there are powers that the PM has, which give him some capability of, like, avoiding that situation. I don't know yet. It's just, that's where my worry lies. Okay, I got to swap batteries and then load.